Hi everyone, this is Ishika Kesarwani and I welcome you all to the Tech Podcast. So today we're having Vaishnavi Dwivedi. She's the community manager of DYDX and is the creator of Michi Spotlight and is the GFD for India. So we can first start with your introduction.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ishika, for introducing me. And yeah, like I am all of those things apparently. And yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know how to introduce myself some of these days. Like I'm just gonna go with the titles and stuff. So yeah, I am a GitHub field expert right now, which is like kind of the biggest thing going on for me right now. It's kind of like consuming most of my bandwidth, and I'm also a community manager at DYDX, which is like a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange. And yeah, like I do a lot of different kinds of things, so it might kind of confuse you as to what exactly I do. But I mean, if in one word, I am a community builder, and like anything related to communities, I do literally anything. And yeah, I mean, there are different things that I try to cover within like the shared interests of these communities, be it UX design, blockchain, different things. So yeah, that's me. And yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast, Ishika.
Thank you so much for coming. So, I wanted to ask you one thing. Like, you've been doing so much in this whole community space right now. So, how did you exactly start with it, and what was your motivation, and what were the opportunities which started coming when you started?
Right. So it was like, I mean, it was kind of very like unintentional, my journey that started within communities, because when I was in my first second year, I was very determined to become a software engineer, which obviously fluctuated throughout. There are different paths and different things that try to interest me, and like we like all like everyone, like I started jumping on each of these, trying to explore them, trying to understand which is best. But if you ask specifically about communities, I started one in my college. It was a small club with like around 10 to 15 people. And I realized in my college that a lot of people did not know what GitHub is, which is like, one of the most important tools for developers today. And I was kind of shocked about that, even though it is not that shocking now that I like look back. But I was very, very shocked, and I just thought that, okay, this is my opportunity, like this is my chance to make people aware of what this tool is, because I know something and a lot of people don't know that. So I started this club. I just circulated the messages in like WhatsApp groups and whatnot. I did a lot of stuff. And then one day I hosted like a meetup in a mall, and about like four or five people showed up, and I was just like showing them Git commands. So like Git pull, Git you come in it and stuff like that. And they were like going, oh, what is the use of that? I mean, it's just like a lot of work. But I in the end, I like after 2 hours, I convinced them to use GitHub in their day to day. And I think all of those five people are doing really good stuff today. And I mean, I wouldn't take any credit for that, but yeah, I mean, at least like they were able to start that journey there with me as well. So yeah, that's how I got into like building communities and like just getting people together who have like a shared problem. And then obviously I got accepted to several student developer programs, one of them being GitHub Campus Experts. And then in GitHub Campus Experts, like a program, it's like a pretty broad program. It allows us to support a lot of community builders and leaders. And eventually I became a GitHub field expert, which is like a position for senior campus experts who can like contribute on a much broader level in their country, and also help organize the GitHub field day, which has already happened in New Delhi, and the next one is going to happen in Bangalore. in India. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing, and that's kind of how I got into communities.
That is great. The GFD Delhi was a huge success. Everyone was talking about it.
You
So
were one
super
of the
proud.
organizers as well, so yeah, obviously it was great.
Of course. Okay. So how did you exactly start with UI UX, and how what was the main motive to start with Michi Spotlight?
Right. So I think the like Michi Spotlight was initially like a newsletter. So what I did was, the idea initially came to me during a hackathon when I was trying to build something and I was out of ideas, and I just wanted to like create a thing where people can get access to customized roadmaps, because I personally did not believe in those roadmap videos that YouTube has, like a lot of YouTubers make about web development, blockchain, whatnot. So I wanted to create something like a customized roadmap journey thingy. Obviously, I was not able to do that because I was the only person, I think, like in my team. Like it was an online hackathon, so it had a lot of friction, so I couldn't build that product at the end of the day. But I did got the idea of Michi Spotlight from there, and I started this newsletter, where I just basically answered a lot of questions that I got on LinkedIn DMs and like Twitter DMs, because I used to post a lot. Like I used to like do that gyan and all that on LinkedIn, and like I used to post a lot. And people used to ask me questions on DMs, like how did you get started, how do you do this, how do you do that, how did you win this hackathon, how did you get this internship, a lot of different things. So I started this newsletter starting to answer these questions, because I was just getting very exhausted, like typing all of those things in DMs and like half-hearted answers. And like then I sort of thought that okay, this is like a good idea to just put out a long form content. It will also help me write stuff. And then eventually a lot of people started requesting like a community where they can suggest and talk about like different things that I was writing about in the newsletter. So that's how the Discord started, and then the Discord started growing from there. A lot of people were requesting content around UI UX, so that's how I started like creating content around it. And honestly, like when it comes to UI UX, the reason why I started creating content was like, once what happened was that I joined a Twitter space by someone who's like a very well known person within the community, and I joined that Twitter space. I started talking about UI UX, talking about product design and the work that I was doing at the startup that I was working at as a UX strategist. So it was like a lot of people started asking me questions about it, so I included that as a big part of Michi Spotlight. And initially, like, Michi Spotlight was like, as the name suggests, like a lot of people ask you why is it Michi Spotlight. So Michi is a Japanese word for road, and spotlight is like spotlight, right? So you're just putting the spotlight on the road that is ahead of you. I know, very meta, and a lot of thought put into that name, but that was kind of the mission of Michi Spotlight. That is kind of the mission of Michi Spotlight, that we wanted to help students find their path, find what it is that that they really want to do in life, in terms of career. Obviously, I mean, personally, even I can't help you there. So yeah, that's kind of how I started Michi Spotlight, and that was the vision.
Okay, so can you share some opportunities which are available for UI UX, like how they can start and how they can crack those opportunities?
Right. So opportunities per se, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities, but I mean, even I am kind of like, like not that deep into the opportunities ecosystem when it comes to design. But there are a lot of things that you can do on your own. You can create opportunities when you see that there are opportunities and you can't find them, or like it's just that you're not able to discover any opportunities in your area. Then you can create them on your own. So there are like so there is a program by Figma called Figma Community Advocates. If you're into community building and you're also a designer or someone who wants to create a community of designers, be it like something, if you're a developer and you have like interest in design, you can also create something like developers who design or open source design or something around those lines. And there are a lot of city specific groups that you can build as well using this Figma Community Advocates program. It's officially called Friends of Figma, so you can check that out. I think it's one of the like very underrated programs that I have come across. And when it comes to like the in like when it comes to students, I think the opportunities are definitely significantly lesser than that available for developers. But this is like a opportunity that you can like explore. And obviously you can use your, if you are a designer or if you're an aspiring designer, you should like try to work on as many case studies as possible. Like not many, but like just try to put in as much effort into case studies as possible, and like try to create some meaningful content around it. People also create Instagram pages where they showcase their work, so you can do all of that stuff to attract certain opportunities. Like a lot of people do freelancing in this field, and I think that is the most common kind of opportunity that graphic designers, UX designers are like more looking forward to, because it's obviously like paid as well. So you can do that. You can volunteer for certain organizations, mainly open source organizations, to help them create their logos, their illustrations, their wireframes, like creating a prototype for their front end, so that their community has a easier time, like the community of developers has an easier time to recreate those front end wireframes. And like they don't have to really brainstorm much about what colors to use, what fonts to use, so you are helping them and facilitating the entire process. So yeah, that's one thing. And another thing is that like a lot of these open source organizations also have like design system related projects, so you can contribute to those as well, since you probably have a lot of knowledge or want to gain a lot of knowledge around design systems as well. So yeah, that those are few things that come on the top of my head. But yeah, like we'll surely, if you join Michi Spotlight, we'll surely share those opportunities time and time again. So yeah, there's the plug.
Yeah, that is great. And like one more thing which I wanted to add on into this is like, creating a social presence. Because if you're showing your work to the people, from there, a lot of people will reach out to you with the
Exactly.
opportunities for you to work in their projects. So that is something which has personally helped me out, not in
Yeah.
UI UX, but other stuff. Okay, cool. So, Vaishnavi, what advice will you give to a person who is starting, their career in your expertise?
Right. So, I mean, in any expertise, usually this is the advice that I give to first year students who come to me and ask me which elective should I, select, and which, uh, you know, uh, like which course should I do, which course on Coursera, or should I do it on Udemy or something else. I mean, there are few things that I usually use as thumb rules. First, don't run after certificates. I mean, even if it's like some course or something, unless it's like a exam or something like that. I think Microsoft and Amazon and AWS and cloud and Azure also have like a lot of certifications. That is mainly because cloud people need something to showcase that they have their skills. But you as a person, you need to be more hands on when it comes to showcasing your work. It shouldn't be through certificates, it shouldn't be through participation certificates. It should be through like your, like if you want to show that you have participated in something, tweet about it, tweet about your experience, write a thread, or just like try to try to make sure that you are putting yourself out there, and not just like some superficial piece of paper or like some digital thing that doesn't have any value. I know that kind of sounds like money right now, but anyway, so yeah, that is one big piece of as well, a big thumb rule that usually people should think about. And another thing is that don't try to like stick to one thing. Don't try to do everything at once. I think a lot of people need to hear this, and they do hear this, even then they continue doing it. But I'm telling you, if you try to do a lot of things at the same time, people will you won't be an expert in anything. You will just be a jack of all trades and master of none. But it's still better than a master of none or something. I don't know what the entire saying is, but I think the thing is that the problem is that a lot of people try to be very generalistic, especially when it comes to engineering, this engineering computing field. So my advice is that since you are in a tech field, you should try to at least have one specialty, something that you can do in such a way that nobody, or no, but not nobody, but like not a lot of people can beat you, or like not a lot of people can deliver that quality of work that you can in that particular field. For me, that is design. And like, even though I am a full stack developer, doesn't matter, because my expertise, like, I have a stronghold, and that is design. And like, whenever someone wants to do something in design, like, especially when it's developer centric, they usually reach out to me. So that's the thing, that try to have that unique thing about your personality, about your personal brand. It should revolve around like one or two at max things. So yeah, that is one advice that you should definitely keep with yourself in your college life.
That is great. I guess with that, we can wrap up today's session. Thank you so much, Vaishnavi, for joining us and sharing your journey with us. And to
Thank
all the
you.
listeners, thank you so much for joining. And stay tuned because we're going to come with many more videos like this. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye.